Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is that you're watching this, if you're even watching it at all. It's day 4 on the trip. We got up early. We've already made 200 sandwiches to go feed kids today. Hopefully to get some time with them, share the gospel is always important to us. So, man, hopefully you can come along for the ride. We can get some good stuff today. Man, hope this blesses you. Thank you for watching.
A few years ago, we had an operator come on this mission, and let me back up. Before he had come on this mission, he was in a very, very low volume situation. And the Lord was speaking to him that if he ever was able to turn a profit out of the store he was in, that was that bad of a mall, that he should give away his first profit check. He knew it'd be small, so he said yes to God, and it took several months. And when that first check came in, at the exact same time, he got something in the mail about the tsunami in, I think it was Japan or wherever it was. And so he said, well, that's a relief fund. This is kind of marks it on the box here, I can do this. And so he gave his first, I think it was less than $2,000 profit check to that efforts. And so he had a 1-month salary of that and gave it away. Well, then the Lord challenged him again and said, hey, I want you, if you ever get into a freestanding, to give away your first year of income. All right, so he came to me with that and was sharing that with me privately, and then I knew he was coming on this mission. So he came on this mission. He came back to me and said, "Remember that goal I told you?" He still wasn't in a freestanding. He said, "If and when it happens, I'm going to give it to Schools for Niger." And so it happened a lot quicker than he thought. He got an opportunity in Atlanta to move and got that restaurant. And so he came to me and he said, "Man, I don't even have the money saved up to be able to do that." So we talked about it, brought a few other guys in on that conversation that he knows well. And so what he did, he took over that restaurant in May and began to save the dollars from May till December, and then said, for the next year, I'm going to watch what that income is and then give it away. So I'm going to have to live off of whatever I've saved from May to December. So long story short, that 1 year that he agreed to do this, he made $160,000. And he ended up donating it all, and he's completed that gift. And so those 2 classrooms were built with that money initially by him alone. So he's not on this trip. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. He answered what God asked him to do. And there's some really cool God stories within his story. One is almost unbelievable if you don't know them well enough. But they were having their first daughter, and they were trying to figure out what to name her. And for some reason, this guy thought, you know what, I want to name her Tessa. And so when they got really close to having the baby, his wife said, you know, let me Google that name. And they're also right in the middle of these discussions on, he's trying to convince his wife that the Lord told him that we got to live off bread and water almost for a year to be able to give this money away. And so she said, let me Google this name and make sure that it's not means something crazy. And she Googled it, and he said, I'll never forget her face. It just dropped and started tears in her eyes. And the first definition of Tessa is a small city just outside of Niamey, Niger. Let that sink in for a second. And so she said, not only do we have to name her that, I'm now with you. We got to give away this money.
So 315 students now at Chimmy. 2015, this is the last time I had stats. Well, we had 50 students here. 50 students, and there was like 2 or 3 classrooms. So we've invested over $40,000 into the school.
So it started with some buildings up here, and then there's some classrooms behind it. We used to come in the gate over there, and then started helping with these classrooms. They've had some funding from additional places as well. We also helped fund these 2 wells. And then this is a sewing school over here for girls. So it's a pretty cool operation.
Blanche, rouge, noir, je ne sais pas, jaune.
That's yellow. And you hear the bell in the back, school's starting.
Yep.
All right, what do we got?
It's 285 students. Last year there was 230, so 24% increase. We've invested over $52,000 with Cornerstone.
So we're at a school that we came to 2 years ago, and this behind me used to be classrooms, and now it is their lunchroom, and these are the classrooms that were being built. Rebarb sticking out from the top, and so the goal is to build 4 more classrooms across, 3 more classrooms across the top. It's neat to come and see progress from 2 years ago. The kids are awesome, as you probably have got to see just a little piece here and there. So we're going through the classrooms and taking the crayons. You keep seeing the crayons and talking about the colors and what that means and presenting the gospel, and so it's been awesome so far. So we're gonna keep giving out stuff, teacher bags, suckers, going through the crayon presentation, just trying to make the gospel something relevant to these kids. So stick with us.
So I'm gonna let Brad, these numbers are astonishing. So that was a lower school, and they said in this community there's a big need for a middle school. So that's what this is, and that's what drove these numbers.
So in 2017 they had 46 students.
Over there.
Yeah. So now they have almost 500 students, 494 students.
In 2 years.
Last year they had 347, so there's just since last year there's a 42% increase.
What? They told us if we built this middle school, it would explode, and that's what's happened.
So we've invested almost $70,000 here.
After Brennan and I came, this is my first time to Niger, we came to the orphanage and we heard about how Bernard had praying for schooling for his children for 12 years, and Brennan and I went back and we were actually in a parking lot of Lifeway.
So tell me who Brennan is.
Brennan is Michael Thaler's son. He was 13 years old and him and I became best buds on the team. So we were at a Lifeway in a parking lot, and we're just talking about, you know, what Bernard had said and how, like, we wanted to have faith like that we could do big things for God. And that was the original idea. We were gonna have like a little spaghetti dinner, kind of a fundraiser. One thing led to another, and we ended up doing a gala, which we called a Night of Niger. So we did the gala for 3 years in a row. Originally, we needed to raise $323,123. But through just tons and tons of miracles and the exchange rate ending up being in our favor, we were able to raise less and have more money. I think in the end we raised like 200 and I'm on ballpark, like maybe $280,000 in 3 years of galas. It was not ever what we thought we were doing. We thought we were doing a spaghetti dinner. And then 3 years later, just everything coming together, and then Brennan got to come this summer for the opening. So this is my first time seeing it, which is really very cool.